So let's talk about getting those systems set up. Now, this is going to be a two-way street. You've got work coming in and work going out. And being organized about that work is what's going to be the thing that makes or breaks you when you're teaching an online class. So you're first going to want to think about, do I need a place locally to store that work? Are you going to work only online, or are you going to want to be able to keep work here at home? So if you want to be able to store work at home, you're going to want to create a folder on your computer. I'll make one on my desktop. So I'll right-click here and I'll hit New Folder. If you're using a PC, you can do that as well. Right-click and go to New and hit Folder. And of course, you can do this anywhere you want on your computer. So if you open up Windows Explorer, I can go to this PC, and here's my computer, and I can do it in my Documents folder if I want. I can do it anywhere. So wherever you want to make that folder to store local work and resources, that's what you're doing. So thinking about file organization is key. So you might want to make a folder for student work if you're going to be looking at it and grading it later, and making a separate folder for resources that you're sending out. Okay? So getting yourself organized from the beginning is going to be really key. Now, what about getting that work out to the world? So you make your resources, okay? You got a whole bunch of resources in there, and you got them. You want to upload them to the world. So you're probably going to use some kind of file sharing service. And whether you're using Google Drive or Dropbox or Microsoft Teams, whatever it is, there are some constant concepts that will be pervasive throughout all of those different systems. So if I have Google Drive, okay, I'm going to just show you really quick the idea of making a folder that other people have access to. And that's the concept, is that you're making a folder up on Google Drive that other people can either view stuff, or other people can drop stuff in and hand stuff in to you or get you those files. So if you've got students emailing your work to you, then you're probably going to want to create a folder on your desktop or folder in your Documents folder somewhere where you drag and drop that work. They send you an email, you drop the work into student work, and you grade it later. But if you're going to be working in the cloud or working digitally, using Drive or Dropbox or something like that is going to be really important. Okay, so what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to make a new folder. So I've got this new button here. I'll click it, New, and I'll make a new folder. Okay, and I'm going to just call it Resources for Lesson 1. Okay, so I'm doing resources for some lesson that I'm creating with kids. I've created the folder. Now, don't let this fool you. Nobody but me can see this yet. That's one of the big roadblocks that happens with these online file sharing services, the idea that you have to make sure that you set the permissions of who can see what thing. So if I have students and I want them to see this, then what I'm going to do is, before I go into that folder and start dropping stuff in, because I can double click it and now I can just start dragging and dropping files in. I make graphics or Word documents, things like that. You can put it all in there. But let me go back to remote learning. I'm going to right click that folder and I'm going to hit Share. Okay. Now, if I just get the link right now, only people inside of the cloud that I'm working with can actually access this folder. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. I want to first learn how to change the permissions. Okay. So right now, only people who are added individually can open with this link. So I'm going to change the link right here and change it so that anyone with the link can now view the resources that I'm doing. Okay, well, that's good. So I'll hit OK, and great. Now anyone that I send this link. Now, how do I get the link? Well, I can right click it again and hit Get Shareable Link. And I've got myself a link right there. I can copy it and I can paste it in. What if I want them to edit it though? All right, so I'll make another folder and we'll call it Turn In. And of course, within that folder Turn In, I could make, separate little subfolders like Period 1, Period 2, Period 3. So I could open it up and, go ahead and do Period 1, and then do all my other classes. But so now Turn In, I don't want them just to be able to see it. I want them to be able to put files in it. I don't want people to be able to mess with this folder. I just want them to see the resources that are there. But for this folder, I want them to be able to drop stuff in it. So what I'll do is I'll go back to Share. I'm going to change the link. And from here, I'm going to make it anyone with the link. And instead of viewer, I'm going to change it to editor. They can organize, add, and edit files. So now, if I copy that link, anyone who has this link can actually participate in this folder. All right. And it's very similar. It's very similar for Dropbox. Dropbox uses a similar paradigm. So if I'm in Dropbox and I want to go ahead and make a new folder, I'll make my new folder. We'll call it resources. All right. And I create it. Well, now from this folder, if I go back out again, and we'll see that it's there, resources, okay, I can share it, and I can share a link. I'll go to for viewing, and this link will work for anyone. So I don't need to invite, I could invite, individual people, but, for right now, I'm going to just make it easy. If they have this link, they can see the resources in it. So I'll hit create it. They create the link. I'll copy it. It's copied to my desktop. And now, voila, everyone can go ahead and see that link. I can email them that link, and now they can put files in there. So setting this system up for getting work out and receiving work is important. Now, I know, you might be using Google Classroom or Schoology or something to receive your work, but you do want to know how to have a folder that people can contribute to if, you need any kind of bidirectional work that way. But of course, sharing your resources with a public sharing or cloud service is going to be really important when you're teaching an online class.